Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be sharing my PIQs that got me accepted into UC Berkeley, where I will be attending this fall. They also got me accepted into UCSD and UC Irvine and waitlisted at UCLA. So I'm going to read each of my PIQs, tell you what was good or bad about each of them. Along the way, I will also give advice for writing your own PIQs. This is PIQ number 1. When I was a freshman, I was shy and self-conscious. Over the years, as I presented my art at Anyone Can Art meetings, my confidence grew. Now I want to give others the same chance to feel seen. Becoming club president pushed me from a quiet member to someone who redesigned the club systems, fostered increased participation, and learned what real leadership entails. I organized the club infrastructure and built longevity. Before I was president, students came up with themes for our art prompts on the spot, leading to poor or inappropriate ideas. Also, there were no planned events. I implemented remedies to these problems. First, I created a Google form for members to submit ideas for art prompts year-round. Then, for each meeting, I pull 5 ideas from this bank of suggestions for members to vote on and choose. Secondly, I make meeting slideshows. I use them to announce opportunities for members, like getting their art featured on Instagram or in our end of the semester on-campus art gallery. Since I'm graduating high school 1 semester early, I hired and trained 4 officers to continue the club. Additionally, I took actions to increase participation and create an encouraging space. Before I became president, only 5 people would come consistently to meetings. With our more organized club infrastructure, I tripled our membership to 15 to 20 consistent members. During meetings, I ensure everyone feels comfortable showing their art, because I want to help others overcome the fear I used to feel. Recently, a shy boy sitting by himself reminded me of my younger self. While someone else presented, I quietly approached him and encouraged him to show his art. He went next, showing a drawing of Plankton from SpongeBob. As always, I started clapping so he'd know he was celebrated for his art and bravery. Reflecting on my leadership experience, I learned what true leadership entails: building and encouraging structure and culture, then stepping back and giving others the freedom to grow their confidence in being creative and seen. So here's some commentary on PIQ number 1. Something that I did that I think really worked in this PIQ was showing both my analytical changes that I made to the club, which is examples of changing the club infrastructure, saying I grew the club from only 5 members to 15 to 20 members. Giving those exact numbers and changes that I made shows the people reading this essay that I can come into a system, come into a club, an organization, and make specific changes to make it better. And while I did that, I also included a personal human story to show that I also have emotional intelligence. So I included the little story of me encouraging a shy boy to show his art. There's also the story arc of me going from a shy kid into a leader, and that shows personal growth. And I can continue being a leader in college and continue growing, which is what they want to see with their incoming class of freshmen. This is PIQ number 2. I always keep a blank piece of paper next to my bed. Sometimes after a particularly striking dream or my daily morning meditation, I will have an image to sketch. To me, creativity is a process that involves inspiration from my subconscious mind, integrated with technology. For my current AP art class, my art pieces investigate how I can convey a sense of horror into my portraiture. Once when I woke up with a nightmare about shrunken heads in plastic bags, I got the perfect inspiration for a project. I drew a realistic graphite fish-like shrunken human head. It was trapped in a plastic bag of water like the fish I would see in the pet store during my childhood. Its wide, glossy eyes conveyed a haunting sense of being trapped. However, something was missing. There was no background to explain the figure's presence. As an avid prompt engineer, I decided to upload a picture of the piece to ChatGPT. I asked it to act as an art expert, and generate unique ideas for the background that would enhance the psychological horror. The idea that stuck with me most was a fish market's butcher counter. I remembered how as a little kid, I would go to the Asian market with my mom. The dead fish staring up at me in glossy eyes from their cold beds of ice always gave me chills. So I drew ice and dead fish around the head in a plastic bag, with a price tag reading $12.99. My drawing, now titled Catch of the Day, gained a newfound layer of horror and storytelling. In my creative process, I conceive an original idea for my art projects from the subconscious mind through dreams, lucid dreaming, and meditation. Then I tinker with AI to generate even more unique, strange ideas to integrate into my piece. At the crossroads of meditation and modern technology, I create art that is authentic and thought-provoking. This process shapes my approach to art projects as I use complementary AI research to generate innovative angles to my dream and meditation-inspired concepts. Here's some commentary on PIQ number 2. Something that I really like about this essay is that I wasn't afraid to be myself, and I was actually quite weird in the essay. Like, you wouldn't think that writing about a shrunken fish-human hybrid head would help get you into Berkeley, but it is something that's very weird. It stands out in piles of other essays, and I think that was something that was quite distinctive and helped me get in. Another thing that worked really well with this essay is that I was able to speak directly to the major that I was applying to. In this case, I was applying to ICAM at UCSD, so this is the Interdisciplinary Computing and the Arts major, so I wanted to show how I use both technology, which was AI, and my creative, meditative art process, and combine the two to make my art. So I was speaking directly to that major. I'd recommend having at least one PIQ that's related to your major that you're applying as. That's just another layer of how it made it distinctive. So think about things that you do that aren't really traditional, maybe how you blend two sides of yourself. Like for me, it was doing meditation to get art ideas, having dream journal, and also using AI occasionally to help me. This is PIQ number 3. I am able to gain personal insight and inspire societal change through my skill of writing that combines human-facing storytelling and analytical research. I developed my storytelling writing through poetry and creative nonfiction, transforming life experience into wisdom. Shortly after my grandpa passed away, I found an old photograph of the two of us having an imaginary tea party. The poignancy brought me to tears. Over the next few weeks, I wrote a poem titled Tears in Teacups, performed it at a poetry reading, and published it in my school's literary magazine. The poem became my cathartic mantra, that grief boiled down to love, and the salt of my tears would add flavor to my life. Additionally, after taking a memoir writing class at the local library, I began writing creative nonfiction. On my blog, I connect thematically linked experiences in my life, like times when I felt self-love, with reflective insight. This creative writing is self-reflection on emotions and life. In journalism, I write to combine research and storytelling. When I was coerced into praying against my beliefs at my public school, I responded by writing about that disquieting personal experience. In an essay, I connected that story to research I did on Supreme Court cases and the trend of church-state separation violations happening at schools nationwide. My writing analyzed both elements the way I had learned to in my AP and dual enrollment English courses. My writing won an essay contest, was published, and got me selected for a conference in Washington, D.C. There, I learned more church-state separation activism. I write to advocate for issues that I am passionate about. Looking forward, I hope to further develop my writing synthesis of emotional stories and analytical research. I'm currently writing a dystopian novel that explores the ongoing issue of gun violence. The story incorporates socio-political research into world building. Readers will both connect emotionally with the impact of gun violence through characters and grasp the legal background surrounding gun control. I am driven to continue developing my writing skill because its unique synthesis. What is this? because its unique synthesis will spark societal change. This is my commentary on the third PIQ. Honestly, I just hate this PIQ. I think I did really bad on it. I don't like it at all. So what I was trying to do with it, I was trying to speak to my major. So when I applied to UCLA and UC Berkeley, I applied as an English major. So I was trying to show, oh, I have these good writing skills. And for UC Irvine, I was applying as literary journalism, so I wanted to show my journalism skills as well. So I basically mushed all that into one essay, and you could tell I was trying way too hard. And it just sounded really analytical. It sounded like some kind of essay that you would write for an English class, where you're trying to argue, oh, this is why I'm the best. And when you're trying so hard to seem that impressive, it just comes across as not very good. I don't know what you guys think, but I just don't like that essay at all. I think it would have been better if I went with a more creative writing aspect to it, like I did in my other essays, where I would talk about waking up from a dream or talking to a shy boy at my art club. If I had more stories in it, I think it would have been better, but I don't really like it. That's the one PIQ I just don't like that I did. But that's just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. Moving on to the next one. This is PIQ number 5. There's an octopus living in my brain named migraine. She always pulsates beneath the surface. Her flailing tentacles are ready to emerge and wrap around my head in throbbing pain. I have had to significantly change my life habits to accommodate migraine's presence, challenging me to investigate my own health through data collection and to reduce my stress. About a year ago, migraine came so frequently and debilitatingly that my doctor had blood tests and an MRI done. Thankfully, there was no tumor, but the cause was unclear. My doctor merely prescribed more medicine. Whenever I awoke with migraine's tentacles pulsing around my head, these pills gave me a semblance of life. But I still stumbled through my days with a painful migraine hangover. The medicine treated the symptoms, but I was more interested in curing the cause and ousting my brain's squatter. I began collecting daily data on migraine, tracking many factors: cups of water, food triggers, stress levels, locations of each attack, and more. This led to having a spreadsheet of more than 270 days of data. Then I noticed a trend. Many notes read, "Woke up with throbbing in neck." A few months ago, I visited a chiropractor who took an x-ray of my neck. He then explained how my head was too far forward, putting extra strain on my neck and continually triggering migraine in that area. Finally, I had found a cause supported by my data, and it could be treated through chiropractic visits. I have learned a lot from my struggle to overcome migraine. Another factor I noticed in my spreadsheet was high stress levels. Migraine gained power when I became stressed from constantly studying, writing blog posts, and running clubs. To address this, I began daily guided meditations, which taught me that relaxation is essential to supporting health. Additionally, I researched certain foods' biological influences on migraine, inspiring me to follow a certain nutritional plan. Overall, I am determined to find solutions and do any research necessary to reduce migraine's disturbances and live my best possible life. Here's some commentary on PIQ number 5. I want to talk about the challenges PIQ. Choose something that you took active actions against to overcome it. I wanted to write about migraines because there were quite a few things that I was able to do to try to counteract them. And this is something else. I would choose a challenge that you kind of haven't completely overcome. I talked about I will do anything I can to overcome this challenge, and I still have migraines to this day. You don't have to completely overcome the challenge that you're writing about. The essay readers know that you're not perfect, and by showing something that you're still struggling with, that kind of shows that you're still human and you have some humility. What I really like about this PIQ is how I was able to use metaphorical language. So when I was talking about my challenge, which is having migraines, I would say stuff like, ousting my brain's squatter. I just love that line. I really I really love it. Okay, another part that I liked was when I said flailing tentacles. So it's just very vivid language. It's very creative. Think of this as creative writing, not as an analytical essay. I recommend including stories, metaphors that are creative, and similes, or just any other things that you would do in creative writing. I would just say, like, have fun with it and don't overcomplicate it. Just like the song Complicated by Avril Lavigne, where she says, "Why you gotta go make things so complicated? I see the way you're acting like you're somebody else, gets me frustrated." Like, don't try to become somebody else and just be yourself. That's gonna be really cringe, and I should probably cut that out. Okay. I hope you enjoyed the video and that it helped inspire your own PIQs. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I will get back to you. Also, please subscribe to my channel for more videos about college and creativity. See you in the next video. Bye!